This video will offer some tips for updating your UASuccess profile to support remote advising or meetings with students. The first thing we want to do is visit our profile. In our institutional profile, you have a number of options for editing. You will want to make sure that your phone number is accurate. But then you have the option of adding an additional phone number. I know this says cell phone, but you can see here that I wrote Microsoft Teams. This will let students know how I will be meeting with them virtually. It could be your Skype URL. You could even leave it blank and put more instructions down in your overview, which I will go over. But definitely use this cell phone as an option for connecting with students and letting them know if you have a specific URL or place that you will be meeting remotely. Don't forget about your direct links. This link here, it can be sent to students via an email, and it will take them directly to my appointment screen. So in your emails, you can include this direct link so that they don't have to navigate through several steps in Starfish. They'll just be taken directly to your calendar. Another item is here in your general overview. This should definitely be updated for students to include any type of information that you think they should know, whether you are holding in-person meetings or not, how they can contact you, whether you want them to be emailing or you prefer that they call your office. Down here, I have specific instructions on how students can use and access Microsoft Teams. So including links that they might need and any information about software they could be using can be very helpful here. In a little bit, I will show you how this appears to students when they look at my profile. While you're in your profile, also head over to your appointment preferences. And if you haven't already done so, add a remote location. So down here in my locations that you can see, they're all in person, but I want to add a online Microsoft Teams meeting option. Here in the instructions, do not leave this blank. Again, you should include very specific instructions to students on how they can access this software and then what they can expect from the meeting. For example, will you be calling the student or will they be calling you? What happens if you can't reach a student within 5 or 10 meetings of the meeting starting? These instructions will appear to students as they schedule the meeting and will also be emailed to students in their confirmation email. So they'll have multiple ways of seeing your expectations for meeting with them remotely. I'll just type a quick note in here right now. Then I will hit save and I will hit submit. And that will save all the profile preferences for me. Your next step will be your actual appointments. So if we go to the appointments screen, let's create some office hours. Now when we're in my office hours, you can see that new office location plus the instructions that are included, and you have another opportunity to add more instructions. I think at this point you cannot add too much information for students. Anywhere that you can add helpful information on how they contact you and instructions for reaching out is helpful. So copy and paste those instructions anywhere they give you the opportunity to do so. I'm using Microsoft Teams. I like it because all students have access to it, but you might be using Skype, you might be using email, you might just be calling them over the phone, and you need to make sure that their cell phone number is updated. Whatever you're doing, make sure those instructions are there. So let's schedule these office hours just for tomorrow as an example. And I will show both my Microsoft Teams option and my in-person option. Okay, so we've created those office hours for tomorrow. Most of you likely have office hours already created, and that's fine. You can edit those office hours to include your new remote advising location. To do that, you simply hover over the office hours and hit edit. If this was an entire series, you would be editing the series, but I just have this one. And you can see here that I could remove this location here and hit submit. So students would no longer have the option to schedule in person with me once I make those updates. Now let's take a look at what a student sees when trying to schedule it with me. So this student is now looking at my profile in UASuccess. We can see that they have more options for contacting, and the Microsoft Teams option pops up there. And the overview that I updated appears here to students. When I go to schedule an appointment, we'll go through these steps. You can see that this all says Microsoft Teams as the office location. So another indicator to students that this will be a remote location. And then the meeting instructions are located here. If you are going to be calling students, definitely include in the meeting instructions for them to update their cell phone number or to add their cell phone number over here in the notes. It's not a guarantee that students will do that, but hopefully they will see this message and add a cell phone number here. Then when the student looks over all this information and hits confirm, they will receive a confirmation email with the meeting instructions, the meeting location, and it will also appear on your schedules as usual in UASuccess and Outlook. And so those were just some brief updates on how you can use UASuccess to help indicate to students that you are either offering remote advising or changing all of your appointments to remote advising instead of in person. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to UASuccess at uark.edu.